Hello everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be a review and breakdown of the first trailer of The Matrix Resurrections. Now I'm pretty much sure that you all know what this is, but for anybody who doesn't know, The Matrix Resurrections is the fourth film in the renowned Matrix science fiction franchise created by the Wachowski brothers, which started way back with the original film back in 1999, which was deemed culturally groundbreaking for its concept and special effects. Now The Matrix spawned two very successful, albeit inferior sequels, with The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, both released in 2003. Now the fourth film will see the return of Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss in their iconic roles as Neo and Trinity. Jada Pinkett Smith will also be reprising her role as Niobe from the second film. New cast additions include Yahya Abdul Matteen II, who we all know from the Aquaman and Candyman movies, Jessica Henwick, who we all know from Marvel's Netflix Iron Fist series. Patrick Harris and Christina Ricci will also be appearing within the film. The movie itself is due for release on December the 22nd, 2021 in both theatres and streaming on HBO Max. Now there was recently a teaser trailer that was released for this film. Now to be honest, it didn't reveal too much, but any extra elements I'll include within this overall breakdown of the trailer. Now there was some controversy regarding The Matrix Resurrections a while back when the supposed script was leaked online by a YouTuber, and Warner Brothers took quick steps to take it down. Now I haven't read the leaked script, so I'm just going into this just referring to the overall trailer itself. Now to be honest with you, I haven't been as hyped for this project overall, as I felt the Matrix story was really complete after the Revolutions. And unless you really start again with new characters, I didn't really see much investment in going back to this original story. Now, when looking at this trailer, overall, I'm not completely sold on it. It has stunning visual shots. It doesn't look too much like a Matrix movie. If you remember, all the three previous films had that very much of a faded green filter to the overall aesthetic of the film, fitting in very much with the binary coding of the supposed Matrix. But this movie has a lot more colour about it, so it's going for much more of a different aesthetic look, which I suppose is a good thing in the sense that it's not trying to just recreate the same visual look of the original three films. Now in this trailer, I wasn't a fan of the soundtrack song that was playing. I wish they went for a far more techno, cyberpunk tone in terms of the music to accompany this trailer. Now we did get certain callbacks to the original films, so that will please a lot of fans. Now we have the certain new cast members who are essentially replacing the established characters from the previous films, and it certainly seems that they won't connect to the end of the Revolution story. This very much looks like it's going to be a reboot or a repeat, if you like, of the first film's narrative, where essentially Neo, or Thomas Anderson, is living in a supposed normal reality, and then over the course of the story he's going to get various illusions and realizations that he's not living in a reality. That's when he will become much more aware of the machine technology, the artificial intelligence, and become much more aware of the Matrix itself. So it is very much of a rehash of the first film. That's certainly what I got when watching this overall trailer. So we're going to go in depth now overall the trailer itself and the standout elements. Just to be warned that I might give some spoiler details as the previous films, so really if you haven't seen them yet, just beware when going to this overall breakdown. So the first scene that we see is with Thomas Anderson, or Neo as we all know him, in the therapy session with Patrick Harris, and straight away we're going to get, as many people have pointed out to with the previous screenshots, the John Wick comparisons. Keanu Reeve very much looks like John Wick, and this is primarily because at the time of filming The Matrix Resurrections, he was also filming John Wick 4, so he had no time to essentially change his makeup because he had to quickly continue to do John Wick 4. So that's essentially why we have this long hair, bearded look of Neo. So we open up with Neo stating that he's having dreams, wondering if he's crazy or not, and then we get those quick clips of the other parts of the story, again backing up my original assumption that this is going to be Neo slowly realizing that he's not within a real world. Overall, we had that very cool shot where he's walking through the city, and then all of a sudden we get that iconic binary code taken over the shot. So very good striking shot of that particular aesthetic. We get the next interesting scene when he meets Trinity for the first time, Carrie Ann Moss returning, and she looks quite good actually. There's no de-aging here, and I just think it's just Carrie Ann. She's just maintained herself and she looks very convincing still from Trinity from the original films. And we see that basically they don't know who each others are. So maybe Trinity is also lost in the reality. And over the course of the story, we're going to see them reunite and recollect and remembering how they first knew each other from the original trilogy. Again, it's perhaps a bit initially confusing because they did both die at the end of Revolution. So how they are back in this frame, we will obviously find out later on throughout the film. And then we have other shots here of Neo walking through the city. We see him taking the blue pills, looking in the sky, in the elevator with the other people on their phones, looking in the mirror, pouring down the blue pills. So again, this is him slowly coming to realise that the reality isn't what it actually is. We get that quick shot of him again looking at Trinity, and we've seen a binary code running down Trinity's face. So this is a further illusion of them reconnecting with one another. We get that weird shot of Neo looking at an aged person within the mirror. Initially I thought this was Neo himself, but I don't think it is. I think it's somebody else. Again, somebody who is more versed within the Matrix mythology can maybe perhaps tell me who this is in the comments, but I don't think it's Neo. I think it's somebody else, and I'm pretty much sure we'll see this character appear a lot more in the movie. We then see Yahya Abdul here in what we assume is the younger version of Morpheus. Again, did they try to get Lawrence Fishburne to come back for the role, or did they decide to go with a younger Morpheus? I'm not too sure. But we see him here very much reminiscent of the original film where he's training Neo. They're fighting together back in that training dojo. Again, reflecting the original scene where we saw Neo and Morpheus fighting together in their white key. But here, Morpheus is fighting him in this red costume here. Very cool shot here where we see Neo fighting back and pushing Morpheus through perceivably the walls of actual reality, and then we see the dojo exploding in the water here. Very good visual shot. We go on to the next scene when Neo walks into the shop and then he hands down the book of Alice in Wonderland looking through the glass, and then he looks at the woman. Now, is this very much the kind of Oracle replacement? If you know the movies, Oracle was very key in helping Neo understand his role within the whole Matrix and Zion. We'll find out, of course, later on throughout the movie. And then we are introduced to Jessica Henwick's character. I'm not sure if she's been given a name at this point, and she's going to be very key, it seems, throughout the movie, because she will essentially help Neo rediscover what's happening. We see those earlier shots where they're walking through the mirrors, and she's got this kind of blue pink hair, about a very short hair, and she's walking through with Neo. So she's going to be key throughout the story. And then we get some cool shots of, I believe it's Zion here. We see the wasteland of the actual reality, if you remember from the original films. And in this shot here, it looks like the Sentinels, the machines, they're defined by those metallic tentacles, and then I think we see the Sentinels flying away in these kind of red dots that we see on the screen. Visually looks very good. And then we get the next shot of, I believe it's the Necromancer ship, perhaps flying through the ruined wasteland of Zion in this very blue like filter on here. Again, looks very cool, very good visuals on here. And then following this trailer, we get some very cool shots after that. We see Jessica Henwick jumping through all of the rooftops and onto the buildings. Very good. And then we get the first shot of the agents transforming. No hint of Hugo Weaving so far. Of course, we know him iconically as Mr. Smith. Will that be a secret cameo that they've hidden and we'll see throughout the film? We'll wait and see overall. We have another great shot where we see a missile being shot into the train, exploding alongside Morpheus and Jessica Henwick. Very cool on here. Another good encounter where we see Neo fighting this Asian man. I don't know who this character is, and he blasts him back in the wall. Again, just like he did with Morpheus. Very good. We see a very cool shot of Morpheus shooting machine guns through the corridor, looking very suave in his orange suit on there. Very cool. Another good shot here of Neo jumping through explosions. Again, just subtle callbacks to the original trilogy, particularly the trailer, if you remember, that came out for that first film. We then get one of the standout scenes of this trailer where we see the shot of Trinity being attached by these tubes. So is this her being resurrected as per the title by the machines here? Maybe she's being resurrected to bring Neo back, help trigger his memories. Maybe the machines need to revive Neo. If you remember from the original Revolutions film, they kind of made that secret pact that if Neo was revived to help take down Agent Smith, then the machines would leave the residents of Zion alone. So maybe something has happened within the whole mainframe and the machines need to revive Neo somehow, and in order to do that they need to revive Trinity, who died from the first film, and then put her back into the Matrix and help her bring Neo out of it. And this is relation, if you remember, to that shot that what we saw from the teaser trailer where it looks like two people are submerged by the Sentinel machines. Now this could be Trinity and Neo, or maybe two other people. We then get another good shot here where we see Trinity fighting off all of the SWAT team unit. We get that slow motion shot of her yelling, and if you notice, we see these multiple versions of Trinity, but some of them aren't Trinity, I believe. If you look on here, some of them look like they're a different person. So again, what does that allude to? We'll find that more without the movie, but a very good visual shot. And we have some more cool shots of Jessica Henwick leaping over cars, shooting at agents within the corridor. So it looks like Jessica Henwick will be doing a lot of the action and fight scenes, which makes sense, especially if you remember her role as Colleen within Iron Fist, where she did a lot of her fight choreography herself. So that makes sense on here. We get further shots of her and Morpheus shooting through the agents and then jumping off the building and falling down. We have another shot here of Neo clashing together with what it seems like another agent. Is this basically the replacement for Agent Smith? This scene, again, calling back to the original encounter between Neo and Agent Smith from the first film, that kind of grey corridor background where they're both in these grey faded suits. Very good on here. We get another striking shot of Neo aiding Trinity in her fighting off all of the SWAT team members, where he pushes them all away in this very fantastic bright light here. Very good, very visually striking. Again, I like that shot. And then we get another cool shot here where he's fending off all the bullets with his hands, again calling back to those iconic scenes from the original trilogy where we had multiple shots of him manipulating bullets. Another great shot here where we see Trinity riding her bike alongside Neo, and they're driving through exploding cars when they have a missile shot about them through the city by helicopters. So no doubt about it, this movie is going to have a lot of action sequences, hopefully of the same standard, certainly of The Matrix Reloaded, which had amazing fight sequences even though the story was very weak. We have another great sequence where a helicopter shoots a missile at Neo and he redirects it onto another helicopter and explodes. Very cool. And then we see Neo and Trinity leaping off the building, hinting back to the iconic shots from the first film, again particularly from the trailer as well. So that's what this trailer was doing, very much so, giving very subtle hints towards the original films, but not recreating shot for shot. So it's still going to be its own movie overall, but will pay a lot of reference and homage to the previous films. And then we have the final shot here where we have the agent. I don't know who this guy is, whether he's a de facto architect or an Agent Smith, and he just makes a statement to Neo where basically he states, after all these years you're going back to where it all started. Just tipping off to the audience where, you know, welcome back, you're going back to the Matrix, you're going to see a lot of what you've seen before after all these years. So very good kind of marketing final scene on here. So overall, in terms of the trailer, as I mentioned before, very visually very good, lots of good shots. As I mentioned before, we're going to get a lot of spectacular action sequences, but I think the main concern is really in terms of the story. Now, if you already watched the original films, you'll probably be able to pick up with the story and just ride along with it. But in terms of trying to attract new audiences, general audiences, which is always the key for these franchise reboots, they're going to have a bit of a tough time really transferring the story and making sure it crosses over, because we had a lot of imagery, a lot of music here, but there wasn't no clear outline of the plot in terms of who is Neo or Mr. Anderson, what is he about, what are these machines, what is this reality, what is this red and blue pill. If you have no idea of the Matrix, again, I think maybe you will struggle to kind of follow on with what's going on in terms of the overall story. So maybe the second trailer, they'll give far more hints as to the overall plot. So we'll wait and see overall how well the Matrix Resurrections is revealed. Like I said, my main concern is really that the Matrix story was told completely, and if you were going to do a new franchise reboot, I would have preferred if we had completely new characters and basically started with a whole complete new story. But I just feel that by bringing back the old classic characters, I'm just confused as to where exactly they're going to take the story going forward. and if they intend to really start off a new franchise with newer characters, or will they just keep with Neo and Trinity. So I would have preferred a bit more innovation in many sense, but in terms of a visual aesthetic and as a first trailer overall, it did look very good. So I'm pretty much sure all of the original Matrix fans will be very excited and hyped up for this project, and we will wait and see overall how well the film performs. Again, it is on dual release with streaming platforms. I don't like that release strategy, but will that affect the box office in the overall film? I'm pretty sure it will, but we'll wait and see overall what happens when The Matrix Resurrection is released. So those are my thoughts and feelings and breakdown of the first trailer of The Matrix Resurrections. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you still hyped for this project, or would you have preferred to see completely new characters and a completely new story? Let me know all of your thoughts. Please also hit and like the subscription and like and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.